All right, so before we move to the next topic, let's show this social media workflow. So I have this social media workflow that starts from the content strategy to when you create a content with a good strategy, you publish across channels, then anywhere you want to post it, then you have engagements. Then if you're not having good engagement, you can now amplify, like maybe share, do run ads and all of that. And then you can also do periodic strategic analysis and reporting. You report, you do the analysis. We are going to show you that as you proceed. You're going to do periodic analysis to see what and what is working, the strategy that is working, the one that is not working, so that you'll be able to change it. And then of course you amplify changes from time to time to give you a good result. This social media workflow has worked for me. It has been helping me because you see, if you don't analyze your work, if you don't check to see what's going on, see whether what you are doing is working or not, you won't know actually how your result is. Of course, especially if you are working for an organization, right? So you will have to know, you will have to track your work. So I'm going to show you that as you proceed. Now let's move to the next topic, and that will be social media trends. Of course, I'm going to talk about it very shortly because later in the course I'll be talking about it in depth. But then, what is the current trend in 2025? Social media. Like I said before from the beginning, I said two things are in dominant in this current dispensation. Number one is AI. Number two is social media. Now, under social media, there are things that are still trending. Recall that social media started from the beginning. Well, I told you there was from 1G to 2G to 3G to 4G. There are some things you were not able to do then that you cannot do now. So there are things trending and current developments that you need to understand. And one of it, which is very important, is AI for personalization, or I usually call it AI for customer support, or you can call it chatbot for customer support. Now, what is chatbot? Chatbot is just like an AI talking to you on behalf of somebody. For example, you can just private chat all these big businesses on Facebook, and you find out that it's an AI that is responding to you. And then if you understand it before you now tell them to now transfer you to original person or kind of something. And there's a company that was applying for job in China the other time, like 3 years ago. It was a very big company. I private chatted them on Facebook, and they are having up to 3 million followers. I private chatted them on Facebook, and then it was an AI that was discussing with me. And I noticed that it was an AI because from the way it's talking, you will know. So I now say, okay, can you transfer me to a real customer support? Before they now transfer me to the real customer support. What that means is that if somebody is managing a page that has 3 million people, especially if they used to have customers, or let's say for something like if you're a Nigerian, you can maybe brands like Access Bank, Zenith Bank, and they have social media presence. Let's say brands like Gigi, all these platforms, they have social media channel. You should know that they'll be having so many people sending them DMs. They'll be having so many people trying to private chat them. So if AI chatbot is there to replace humans in the places where they can, now, AI can be conversing with you and solve your problem if you can, if you customize it for that. And then it's in a situation where the AI cannot solve, the AI can now transfer the person, the customer, to you, who is now the social media manager. So in this course, we are not going to be talking about how to customize AI, but I just want you to have a knowledge that there is what we call chatbot for customer support. Some of you must have come across these things. You will see an AI chatting with you. You just press customer support to chat somebody, to chat the customer support, and what you notice is AI talking to you. That's happened to me many times because I browse the web most of the time. So if you have seen this, you should know that as a social media manager, you were supposed to know how chatbot work, because if you are working for a big brand, you should know how this thing works. It's very important that you learn it. All right. Now we have rise of short form video is what is currently trending. Now on Facebook, you need to know how psychology, the human psychology works, right? If you check on Facebook, you will notice that people are always scrolling. People are always scrolling up and down. All right. So if you post long content on Facebook, long video, let's say you go and post let's say a movie on Facebook, you will discover nobody will watch it. But if you post it on YouTube, people will watch it. So what is currently going on social media is basically short form video. In fact, I love comedies a lot. I love comedy and I usually watch comedy on Facebook and Instagram. But then if those videos are long, especially if they are longer than 5 minutes, I won't even watch them. I'll watch them maybe till the end and I will stop. It's the same thing for everybody. All right. So a short form video is what is currently going, and like I explained from the beginning, there's difference between reels and then long form video. Social media capitalizes on reels. Social media likes short form video. That's why if you have a long video, take it to YouTube. So if you are managing anybody's brand, you should center around reels, center around videos that are between 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, at max 5 minutes, because people are always scrolling. No matter how important it is, people will not do it. Before, you can post videos of 10 minutes, you can post longer videos. Nobody cares, right? But for now, if you are talking about social media growth, you must understand that long form video does not scale. It's only short form video, and those are the current trend. But most of the important of this current trend is AI for chatbot. Facebook has AI called Meta, or better you can call it Llama 4.0. They have Llama 3.1, they upgraded it to Llama 3.2, and just like that, now we now have Llama 4.0. So we have that AI on Facebook, we have that AI on Instagram, we have Grok is the AI for Twitter. Twitter also has their own AI. So almost all these platforms have their own AI. That's to show you that AI is on the rise. So if you're a social media manager, you should know how to use AI. You should know prompt engineering so that you make your work very simple. Now let's move to the next topic, and that is developing a social media strategy. Now, this is where the main work lies. You need to remember what told you from the beginning, that social media growth is basically consistency. That maybe if you are posting every day or 2 times in a week, or is basically consistency. Number two is basically your strategy. I'll mention the other one later. Your strategy matters a lot. What are you using? What strategy are you using to grow? And that is what we're about to teach you in this particular topic. Number one is that you must have a goal. You won't like to manage a brand where you don't know what you are doing. You don't know the result you want. You don't know what at the end of the day you are aiming at. In fact, if you are managing for brands, they will even give you goals. But you yourself as a social media manager, you need to set up goals for yourself. Then let's say at the end of the month, this is what I expect. And your goals must obey these 5 things. I call them smart. Number one is specific. Your goals must be very specific. You need 10,000 followers in 60 days. Please be specific with it. You need 1,000 followers in 1 week. Please be specific with it. You need people to click to your website. You need to be specific with your goal. Number two, your goals must be very measurable. Please do not overhit your goal. If you know that 10,000 followers in 60 days will not bring result, please do not start it. So you can just know that your goal should be measurable. And from time to time, you should be able to say, "Oh, I've gone this one, I've take this one, I've take this one." So you should be able to measure your goals. And then the next one is that your goals must be very achievable. It's part of what I've explained. You don't need to make hasty goals that you know that you cannot accomplish. So as a social media manager, you should be able to set some of these goals. And then the arrow is for relevance. Your goals must be important to what you are doing. It must be important to your brand. It must be important to what they want you to do. Very important. And then of course, lastly, your goals must be time bound. Don't just say I want to get 10,000 followers. No, I want to get 10,000 followers in 60 days. You are putting a time bound to it. I want to get 10,000 followers in 30 days. You are putting a time bound to it. So that is what will spur the energy in you. That's what will move you every day. That's what will motivate you every day to create content. So as a social media manager, number one is that you must set goals. And I say your goals must obey these 5 things. Number one, I said, is your goals must be specific, and then your goals must be measurable, your goals must be achievable, your goals must be relevant, and then it must have time bound. Because of this, we are going to move to the second we are going to move to the second strategy, which is understand your target audience. I keep saying this a lot. I keep saying it. In fact, when I was teaching content writing, I said it, and I'm saying it here, that you must know your target audience. You must know the people you are working for. For example, you are managing your brand is a perfume. Who and who needs perfume? Children needs perfume, adult needs perfume. If you are managing for a company that produces paint, for example, who and who needs paint? That is your target audience. And in your target audience, you need to understand the key elements. The key elements are your age, the age of the people, the gender of the people, the location of the people, the interest, the pain point. You are selling paints in Abuja. You only have a physical shop in Abuja. You don't do delivery outside of Abuja. Nothing should concern you with people in Lagos. Very simple like that. So that when you are creating content, you will know that you are targeting people living in Abuja. It's as clear as this. Very, very important. And of course, the gender. If you are selling wigs, for example, your business has nothing to do with male. It's only female. So you must have to be target at them. And the age people, is it for what the product you are selling, is it for children? Because there are people who sell things for only children, right? So you need to check if they need they are their product is for children, adults, or even older people. So you have to check this. It's very, very important. And what is their pain point? What do they want? For example, you are selling perfume. It means that somebody is smelling. That's why he needs perfume. Somebody dresses and he smells. You are selling pen. You are selling paint. It means that maybe somebody has a building and he needs to repaint. So you need to understand their pain point. So the strategy is that number one, set goals. Number two, understand the people that needs your product. And then number three is competitor analysis. Please, very important. You need to understand the analysis of you need to understand the people who are already doing what you are doing. The people who are already, because you are not new in any niche. There's no niche that is new. People must have been doing something that is related to what you are doing, or even exactly the same way you are doing it. So you need to mirror what you are doing. So I'm a social media manager for a pen production company. When I resumed, the first thing I did was I did page audit. After page audit, I now check now who is into pens and who is already making names. I discovered that Beggar is a big name in painting, something like Dulos, and plenty of them. So I now say, okay, what I did is that, how do you do it? I'm going to show you that, but I'm going to show you that now. So what you do is go to Facebook, and then, oh sorry, go to Google and type maybe top 10 so people in your niche. If you are selling pens, top 10 pens production company in Nigeria. If you are selling perfume, top 10 pen production in Nigeria. If you are selling real estate, top 10 realtors in Nigeria. You pick when you go to Facebook, you type something, Google, you type something like that, you bring out their names. You now go to Facebook. If, for example, you type that Dangote is good in cement, and your company is also in cement, you pick Dangote, go to Facebook and type Dangote. Dangote will come up, the page will come up. You will see that he has thousands of followers because he's already on authority in that niche. And then the next thing you do is that you click follow, you start following him. And then when you start following him, or you start following Dangote Cement, or you start following all these brands, whatever they post will now be appearing on your feed. And then you now be seeing exactly what they are doing. So you now be seeing exactly what they are doing. If they are posting what they are doing that is working. So I followed Beggar, I followed Dulos, and I follow other people, and whatever they post, they are bots. Do not copy and paste. You are just there to study their strategy. You are there to study their analysis. You are there to study your competitors, what they are doing that took them to that position. That's why you are there. You are not there to copy and paste anything. If they create a video on so something, and if they're having a lot of likes and comments, you should know that if you create your own video on that particular need, on that particular topic, and you did the right thing, you are going to also get at least a percentage of the result they are getting. So you need to know who is doing good, and I've showed you how to do that. So why do you need to analyze competitors? I say learn what works and avoid their mistakes. You learn what is working for them, and then you avoid some things. And of course, you identify gaps in the market. Step for analysis. I've shown you this. And then the tools for analysis, you can use Buzamo, SEMrush, and SproutGigs, all these Google trends, but they are good. But the simple thing is what I just explained. Go to Google, type all these things, bring out their names, go to Instagram, go to TikTok. They will have the presence there. Access Bank has free presence on Facebook. Access Bank has presence on this thing. So if you were marketing for a financial brand, you should know that if you just search them on this and follow them, they post every day. You see what they are posting. If somebody like you that is managing all this, there is not the CEO. So you know what the person at the end is managing, what he's doing that is working for them, and then you kind of copy their strategy, but not copy their content, their strategy. And then number four is content platform selection. When I was employed in this pen production company I'm currently working, when they employed me the first day I went there. I told them, I mentioned one of the app they were not supposed to use, and a whole lot of them were complaining, why are we not using it? I told them, but because they trust me that I'm an expert, and they help me. So you need to know which of the platform works for I've mentioned from the beginning that we have up to 7 8 platforms that are currently working on social media. It does not mean that you should have a presence of your business in all these platforms. You need to understand what is working for them. And like I said in the page overview, you need to know that Facebook is for the community management. Instagram and TikTok is for only videos and images. Some platform like LinkedIn is for professionals. TikTok, sorry, what is this platform? Twitter is for real-time event. So if you are managing a platform, there are two things you need to consider in selecting this platform for them. Number one, what is your own brand for? The brand you are managing for, what do they stand for? Do they produce things that need visuals? Do they produce things that need videos? Do you need to produce videos? Do you need to do this? The second thing is you need to understand what this platform, Facebook, Instagram, or what do they stand for? Who and what and what. So if you are a brand where they produce video, there are physical products where you can take videos, you can do, you should know that Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, they are must. If you're a brand where they do sales, marketing, business to business, you should know that LinkedIn is a must, Facebook is a must. So you can choose like two to four platforms for them. It must not be everywhere. So you must know how to choose them with these two strategies I've just given you. Number one is know what the platform stands for, know what the business you are managing is for. If they have physical products, you know how to do that, of course. So that is how to do that for that. Now, content pillars. Now, what I want to explain under content pillar that is important here is this uh, content categories. We have evergreen category, we have seasonal content, we have timely content. We have content that lasts only for a week. If you create content under, let's say, a particular niche, now you notice that within a month, the content is not there again. That is for things that are trending. So timely content, we have timely content, and we also have seasonal content. For example, if you are let's say you are for sports, let's say football in particular, you should know that football is for sport. There are some businesses that are seasonal. There are some businesses that, so you need to understand this content. And there are some businesses that are evergreen all year round. This year I bought a book on marketing, and when I brought the book home, the book was written by Brian Tracy. So when I got home, I discovered that the book was written and published in 2002, but I bought it in 2025, about 20 something years ago, still relevant. So you should know that there are some topics that last long. And like I was saying in painting, for example, if I said 10 reasons why you need to paint your house in the right way, that content is going to go well because you need to paint your house. So those that is an evergreen content. So you need to understand that there are some content that last long, there's some content that does not last long, and there's some content that are very timely. Sometimes in a for example, if this man that was trending recently, that he was charging people 18,000 naira for mentorship. If you have created a content under that, it will last for only a week, because in fact that content did not even last up to 3 weeks or up to 3 days. So those things are timely content. All right. So that is that for that. Now we are going to move into one of the topic I consider one of the best, and that is content creation and content curation. Content creation and content curation. You're a social media manager. They expect you to create content. In fact, another name for content social media manager is content creator. Most of them call it content creator, although there are similarities, right? There are differences between social media manager, but in Nigeria and somehow generally they are generalizing their workflow. They are generalizing their of the how they call this. They are not calling it that who is a social media manager is a content creator. So you need to create content, you need to know how to create content. We have three basic types of content. Number one is text. That's why I taught you content writing. Number two is image. Either that image is your full image you're seeing me, or it's a graphic that you design. and then the third is video. That is the three images, three kinds of content we have. Sometimes we have video, you can post audio to some of these platforms, but the basic content we have are just three. Your video may be reels, stories, live streams, and any kind of video like tutorial, like you're watching this one. The images can be infographics, GIFs, memes, and all of that. There are plenty of these things, but like I said, three of them are the most important: the text, the image. In fact, text is the most important one, because you, even if you want to post graphics or your picture, you can't post it without writing something on it. The same thing happens with video. So you can't post a video without text. So you can see that their importance are very, very large. All right. So now, what are the tools to create this content? Now, for text, like I taught you, you can write your text on MS Word, you can write it on Google Docs, you can write it on Grammarly, right? Now, for graphics, we have Canva, we have Adobe Spark, we have Figma, we have CorelDRAW, we have Photoshop. All right, Photoshop, CorelDRAW are heavy software that you can also use. They are so good to do graphic designing. But then I recommend Canva. I recommend Canva because Canva is what you need. All right, the kind of graphics you need are simple graphics. They are not that, you are not, it's not that big kind of a sophisticated content. All right, your own is just light content. So in fact, even if you want to use sophisticated, you want to do for sophisticated, it's still good, right? Now look at the Canva interface. This is the Canva interface. If you log in, it will bring you here. Of course, you see that we will have templates, and we'll have templates that you can use. So it's very simple, and I recommend it over time because it's the best. So, but if you know how to use CorelDRAW, good. If you know how to use Photoshop, Figma, they are good. I know how to use Photoshop a little, but not that. But if you come to Canva, I'm a pro in it. The reason is because that's what I've been using for, and that's what I'm recommending for you. So for video editing, we'll be using CapCut. I recommend CapCut. In short, Adobe Premiere Pro is also a heavy software, so if you know how to use it, still fine. I know how to use it, but not as a pro. But when it has to do with CapCut, I know how to use it as a pro. So if you know how to use InShot and CapCut, is good, and that's what we are recommending for you. So those are the tools to know how to use. So now let me explain something before we move further. If you're a social media manager, they expect you to know these three things. Number one, they expect you to know how to write. Number two, they expect you to know how to do graphics. Number three, they expect you to know how to do videos. Now, there are some organizations you can work with that they already have video editors. They already have graphic designer. Your own is just to write. Some of them can even give you complete content, including writing. But then generally, before anybody will hire you, they will always ask you if you know these three skills. So if you don't have any of them, contact me on WhatsApp, and I will guide you properly. Now let's look at this. Before we proceed to the next topic, I want you to look at this. This is the 5 pillars of social media marketing. Create a good strategy, you plan your work before you publish, you listen to people, that is crisis management that I will be teaching later, and then you analyze and you advertise. You should be able to know these 5 things immediately after this course. In fact, we are done with the strategy, we are done with planning and publishing. You should be able to know how to do this. This is very, very important. Now, let's still go to content creation. Now, how do you create contents that go viral? We have talked about there are 3 types of content, and I've talked about it. The second one, I taught you the tools to use. Now, how do you go viral on social media? You need to understand, one, the importance of hashtags. You need to, if you are managing for any brand, you should know some related words that people will literally go to Facebook or go to any Google search and search. For example, if you are managing for real estate, you should know that real estate is a hash word. You are seeing it here. Homes, because real estate has to do with home. Interior, building construction, architect. You can put hash highlight, hash viral, hash viral, viral reels, hash this, hash that, related words like that. So that the reason why you are doing this is, if you do this and somebody come on Facebook, for example, to search for interior or to search for building architect, your page is going to come, your article is going to come up, your page is going to come up, and it's going to go viral as well. So you can see whether the person is your follower or not. And then the second thing you need to understand is, you need to understand the power of tagging. Tagging is also called ARC, or art, sorry. So if you, let's say I have 5,000 followers in my page, and then the other person have 5,000 followers, and if I'm writing about the person, I mention the person's name, I tag the person. That's why you used to see people on Facebook, they will write a post, and they will tell you they are in so 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 place with Dennis and 99 others. Meanwhile, you need to be careful with that kind of tagging, because you can't use a professional page like your business page to be tagging people. You can only use your own, but you can tag reputable companies or reputable people if you are thought saying something about them, and your post is going to appear on their feed. If they don't lock their feed, if they don't lock their profile to review it, your face is going to go. Even if they lock their profile, it's going to show to them and they're going to review it. When they like your content, they okay it, it's going to appear under their feed. And of course, you're going to go, your content is showing to their own audience as well as your own. So you need to understand the power of tagging. But like I said, you need to be professional with it and you need to be very careful with it. Of course, you need to use case studies of viral successful campaigns. You need to see kind of campaigns that are going viral, so that you can maximize what makes them to go viral in order to use it. All right. Now, the last but not the least for viral content is that you must use trends. All right. If something is currently trending, write an article on it. It means that people, if somebody come to search for those articles, they are going to see it. Like, say, Twitter has a separate page where it checks for, where it has a separate how they call a separate tag where you see trending. Or if on some you on what's on your PC, you see where it's showing trend, what is happening now. They are showing you what is trending. If it's on your phone, you are seeing trending. If you go there, you see a lot of hashtags of things that are currently trending. And if you write your article or you create content based on what is currently trending, or you give hashtags to those things that are trending, you are going to go viral as well. For example, Obi Kobana just finished his birthday, and the hashtag for his birthday was 50 for 50. If you are writing a content and you put hashtags 50 for 50 or hashtags Obi Kobana, anybody who is coming out to look for Obi Kobana's 50th birthday, your content is going to come up, whether it's related to it or not. But you have to be very careful so that you do hashtag to only things that are related to what you are doing. This is very, very important. Going viral takes time. It takes consistency. So you have to begin there to feed the algorithm and tell the algorithm, this is what I'm doing. Please help me recommend my content. And then lastly, we are going to talk about content calendar. Content calendar here is basically, what I would say here is how to schedule. How to schedule. All the platforms I've been mentioning have that particular thing, how to schedule on Facebook. The Facebook has how to schedule. Twitter, Instagram, all of them have to schedule. What is scheduling? Scheduling is, for example, I want to make a post. I want to publish a post around 12 p.m. tomorrow. And by 12 p.m. tomorrow, I will not be available. So you can publish the post today and it will not go viral until that time. So you schedule it for that particular time. That's what we call scheduling. You can find it on Facebook and can find it anywhere. But you can use platforms like Buffer, Hootsuite, and all of that to schedule posts, like Meta Business Suite to schedule posts. But then I always recommend, I always recommend that you use the inbuilt scheduling options in each of these platforms. If you go to Twitter, you see one thing looking like clock. When you click it, is that scheduling. You can schedule your post after you have published, you have typed your post and bring in the images and everything. The same thing with Instagram and the same thing with TikTok. TikTok also schedule, LinkedIn also schedule, and all of that. Just look at that small thing that has TikTok. But for this class, like now, if you look at this now, there's something here talking. This is clock. This is exact button you're supposed to see in each of these platforms, and that button means schedule. Now, for this class, we are going to be using Facebook as an example. All right. So from Facebook, like I said before, go to Meta Business Suite and create your account and log in your business. Now, this is Facebook Meta Business Suite. All right, this is where to do the scheduling. Let's say now we come here and say digital skill. Let's say this is what you want to schedule for tomorrow. You can bring in the images if you want, you can bring in the video if you want. Now scroll down, you see where we call scheduling options. Toggle it on, and then you see here, when do you want it? I want it tomorrow. On Insta, you want it to publish on Instagram too? Yes. And then what time? I want it at 12:00 p.m. 12:00 p.m. And then you click on schedule for Facebook. It's going to go viral, but I don't want that to post because this is just a class, right? So you can just place on schedule and it goes. So this is very, very important for you if you are managing for a bigger brand that needs bigger work. I'm managing for Day Spring Bible Church, and one day Bishop called me 2 weeks to my my job. Bishop called me and said he wanted me to be publishing their morning devotion. Our morning devotion is always 5 o'clock in the morning or 5:30. That thing must go online. So I can't be waking up every day to do that. So what I just do is I will just use like something like 2 hours to 3 hours and sit down in one place and schedule all the morning devotion for the whole month. You can see that it reduces my stress while I use the other time for other work. So this is important. This helps and it can help. So I won't be able to use other platforms, but you can also check on Instagram and Twitter and see how that actually works. All right. So, and lastly, you must have to understand engagement strategies. If people are commenting on your post, you have to understand how to comment. You have to understand how to respond to them. And this is very important for you because it is from there that you will make your sales. It is from there that you keep your customers loyal. Because if you respond to somebody harshly, it's going to unfollow you or it's going to unsubscribe. So that is that for that. So that's that for content creation and engagement strategies. We have been able to talk about the three types of content, the tools to use to create those contents. We have also been able to know how to go create viral content. We have also know how to schedule your posts. And of course, now we are talking about engagement strategy and how um, to make to respond to comments and all of that. In this responding to comment, there's one thing I want you to understand before I move to the next topic. Please understand that customers are always right. Treat anybody making a comment or anybody engaging with your profile or with your post as a potential customer. So we always be polite to them and all of that. So you have to know that. But we'll talk about it better when we proceed because there's something I'll be talking about subsequently. All right. So now let's come to the next topic. This topic is analytics and crisis management.